Before we get into this video, I do just want to share a couple of trigger warnings. I feel like it's very important before a conversation like this for anyone who might be bothered by any of the following topics. In this video, we are going to be talking about IUDs, specifically the Kyleena IUD. We're going to be talking about removal of IUDs, insertion of IUDs. We're going to be talking about pregnancy. I think that's everything, but I will just pop one more disclaimer on the screen here in case I may have forgotten anything. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. This is definitely different from what I typically film on my channel. It took me a while to really decide if I wanted to sit down, if I wanted to film this video or not, because it is definitely very personal. I want to start off right away by saying I am in no way trying to influence anyone to make any decisions. Please do not do anything just because I'm talking about it. If I say it was good for me, it doesn't mean it's going to be good for you. If I say it was bad for me, it doesn't mean it's going to be bad for you. Please talk to a medical professional. It is very important before you do anything really. It's to speak to the professionals that you are comfortable with, that make you feel safe and cared for. So before we get into this conversation, I do just want to talk about that. The intent of this video is to share my experience being on the Kyleena IUD, why I decided to get it removed, my thoughts, my feelings, all of the above. I film videos to share my life and my experiences and my stories. I've been filming since I was 18. I am now 25 and we're still here. My content's definitely changed and shifted over time and it looks different, but I feel like what has stayed the same in my content is I always just like to share my life, and I want to look back one day at this video and to think about it and to look back on it and to just think, okay, that's where I was when I was 25. That was the time period of my life when I was 25. So we're just gonna get right into it. If you are new here, my name's Jill. I'm 25. I live in South Florida. I make lifestyle content. I'm sharing a video all about the Kyleena IUD today. My experience is really what this video is about. I'm not here to tell you that birth control is good or bad. I'm not here to tell you what the best option is for you. You can speak to a medical professional about that. That is what I did. With doing that, I had a wonderful experience. Spoiler alert. I very much am happy and do not regret my experiences or decisions over the last 7-8 years when it comes to birth control, and we're going to talk all about it today. So I guess we should get right into it. Today is July 23rd. I got my IUD removed on June 19th. It's been a little over a month. I'm gonna share my experience with the symptoms after I got my IUD removed. I just feel like it could help, if you are currently on a Kyleena IUD and you're looking to get it removed. I will share about the transition of it. If you're looking to get on an IUD and are looking to hear about some positive experiences, this is one. But again, for the sake of your own mental comfort, this does not mean it's going to go like that for you, you know? I feel like I just have to emphasize that a lot because my decisions, I don't want to negatively influence anyone else. I have a coffee here. I'm filming back-to-back videos today, so a coffee was in order. The agenda for today's video, we're going to talk about why I got on birth control in the first place. So we're going to take it all the way back to the start. We're going to talk about the timeline of that as well. I'm going to talk about my experience with birth control, not only IUD, but also the pill. And then we'll talk about why I decided to get off of the IUD and just birth control in general and the adjustments over the last month. So I will say off the bat, I am very grateful to have birth control as a tool. Everybody has different beliefs on birth control, and I'm not here to tell you what to believe or how to feel. I think you can do your own research. I think you can speak to your own professionals who know your body. That is how I made every decision I made when it came to birth control. I do not regret being on birth control. I love birth control. I might even go back on it again in the future. Again, we'll get into why I'm off in the first place later. I just wanted to say that because, you see so many crazy things online. Speak to a professional. That's all. I'm neutral on it. Just because I had a wonderful experience does not mean someone else will. So, and just because someone else had a bad experience does not mean I will not have an amazing experience. And I did have an amazing experience. I just turned 18. And I got on birth control for the sake of not wanting to get pregnant. I did not want to get pregnant. That's it. I was a very anxious girl, but I did not want to get pregnant, and I knew in order to be the safest possible, I wanted to be on birth control. For me, that was the safest option in my head, is to just have any form of protection that I could. But that is why I got on birth control, because I did not want to have sex and then get pregnant. I grew up an only child. I grew up with a single mom, and that was my biggest fear, is getting pregnant, not being ready for a child, not having the finances for it. So I got on birth control. I did not get on for my periods. I did not get on on for acne. I know a lot of people do, and I think that's wonderful. I got on birth control, I got on the pill. I spoke to my OBGYN that I had up in Rhode Island at the time, and at the time we decided the pill was the best option for me. It made the most sense. It was my first time on birth control. I was on that for about 6 months, I think. Yeah, I was on that for about 6 months, and I didn't have any negative experiences with birth control. Like the pill, I know a lot of people have so many different experiences, and again, this is why I say talk to a professional, and that's what I did, and that's why they prescribed the one for me that worked, I guess, for me. I don't remember, I was 18, so like I don't really remember like any crazy side effect. I feel very grateful for that experience. The only thing that I would say like I didn't like about birth control, which will then get into the rest of the conversation, that was back in 2019, by the way. The only thing I didn't really like was that I had to take it once a day. At the time, I was working 2 jobs. I worked in a restaurant. I worked in 2 restaurants. I worked at a breakfast and lunch restaurant, and then I worked in fine dining at night, and my alarm would go off at 1 p.m. every day. I thought that was the best option at the time for me because I would wake up at different times depending what time I had to go in for my breakfast shift. It would like stagger like every 30 minutes, so I would sleep in. I slept until the last minute that I could. So I thought 1 o'clock was great. I would have eaten. I remember that because there is still an alarm on my phone that says 1 p.m. birth control. It is 2026. Let me see if I can find. Is it still there? Oh no, I deleted it. Aww. No, it was there up until this year. I still have one for my eyebrow appointment from when I was 18. I knew what I wanted and I knew what I didn't want. Only negative thing is taking it once a day, and that's literally because I was so anxious that I would think that I didn't swallow the pill, or the pill would fall into my drink and I couldn't see it, or I didn't feel that I swallowed it. So I was a very anxious girl. I was a very anxious girl, and I went through that every single day of being paranoid that it didn't actually process in my system. The only time that the birth control like wasn't working was when I got strep throat, and because I was on antibiotic, I was so stressed out that whole week. I should say as well, my periods have always been pretty heavy, I would say. Like, they were always on the heavier side. I don't know if it's genetics or what plays into it, but they were always heavier, and they didn't change when I got on the pill. I say that because we're gonna move into the conversation about the IUD, and I'm sure you want to hear about that. In 2019, Tyron and I decided we wanted to travel the world, and with that, I knew that being on a pill that you had to take the same time every single day was not gonna be the most comfortable or effective method that I could do for myself. So I decided to talk to my doctor again, and she recommended the Kyleena IUD. She did it based on a few different factors. I didn't have kids, my age, all the things like that. I'd never been pregnant before. So those were like a couple of things of why she recommended Kyleena. Kyleena is a hormonal IUD, so it was hormones. So the first one, I had 2. The first one I got inserted in 2019, traveled the world, no issues on it. I had 0 issues on it when I traveled. I had 0 issues when I stopped traveling. Like, I had no issues whatsoever. I had the IUD for 5 years. That's a long time now to think of it. To be on a hormonal like birth control, it's a long time. I don't know my life without it, to be honest with you. This is the first month as an adult that I have not been on birth control. So it's kind of crazy to say like that. I was so young, I don't remember feeling a difference of anything. Like, I don't really have side effects with it, I don't think. Part of why I wanted the IUD too was because I thought my periods would disappear, because my periods were a bit heavier. I always got the cramps in advance. I always had a steady 7-day period with the cramps. Like, I was excited to not get a period. You know good and well, I still got my period every month consistently. And honestly, as like looking back, I am grateful to have had my period, because I feel like, you know, like I could just know it was there, and it was just nice to know that I got a period every month. I will say it did get lighter. It did get a lot lighter, and it was only like 3 or 4 days rather than the full 7, and it was always lighter. It was never as heavy as when I was not on the IUD. I don't remember though any kind of like weight gain or mood fluctuation, or honestly, I was 19 or 18, almost 19 when I got on it. So it's very possible that I could have been feeling a lot of those things, but don't remember, because I feel like that's the experience of a lot of teenage years to early 20s, is so much ranging of emotions. So it's very possible that how I felt. So for 5 years, I had the first Kyleena IUD in. Then 2 years ago, when we were in Colorado, my IUD was going to expire, and I had to decide, am I going to get off birth control, or am I going to go on an IUD? I was only on birth control for the same reason as always, was I did not want to get pregnant. I made the choice to get one taken out and put one in. If you're wondering my experience with the insertion and removal, my experience. So when I got the IUD inserted, we did it, the first one I did it the week I had my period. Like, they purposely scheduled the appointment for when I had my period. Something about your uterus being more open. No other provider that I went to gave me that same like rule to go by, so I don't know if that's a thing or not. It was definitely not the most comfortable experience. Again, everybody is different. I've seen horror stories about people throwing up, passing out, can't walk, can't move. That's what I saw before my first experience, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is terrifying. I didn't have a bad experience, in my opinion. I don't know if I have a very high pain tolerance or not. It was definitely uncomfortable. It feels like very intense period cramps, and it's like a lot of pressure. And I just don't think anything down there is comfortable when it comes to like someone putting something in there or removing it. Like, the removal was so much easier. The removal felt like nothing. But the insertion, you could definitely feel it. For my first one, I was on the couch for the rest of the day. I purposely took the day off. I lounged, and then the next day I worked a double. Mind you, I was 18, so I worked a double the very next day, and I felt alive and well, full of energy. Now that I look back on both experiences, I think it's considered like a minor procedure, in my opinion, just with how invasive it is. Like, it's not comfortable. Like, I didn't get anything to help with the pain. They were just like, take ibuprofen. For myself, again, it wasn't even like the worst pain of my life, but it was definitely uncomfortable, and it was definitely something that I wouldn't choose to experience if I didn't have to for what I was going for. So that's my experience with the first IUD. I had it in for 5 years. Then, going back, we're circling back, sorry, I got off track for a second. The second one was going in. I scheduled the appointment. They did not put it in while I had my period. They just scheduled my appointment, took the first one out. Not painful at all. Put the second one in. Again, same thing with the same feeling. But I remember her saying like, wow, you're doing like really good with this. Like, you're breathing really well or something. And my response to her, I don't know why I'd remember this, but I was like, yeah, I do yoga. Like, at the time I had been going to like months and months of hot yoga, so my breathing was on point. I think the second insertion was better than the first for me, because one, I knew what to expect. I think I was more in tune with my body, so it was easier for me to like breathe through it. So that was the second insertion. I did go to hot yoga after that, and I could barely get through it. And I remember my instructor being like, girl, it's okay, like, it's just an off day for you. And I looked at her and I was like, I got an IUD in today. And she was like, why are you here? I did end up going home after the class, and I did nothing. And I remember being a bit sore for the next like day or two after, maybe because of that, like, I was doing a lot of physical activity. I can't really give an honest like answer as to like the length of time that I was feeling like that, because it could have been contributed to the fact that I was active and that I was moving and I was doing a hot workout. Like, I don't know the science behind it all, to be honest with you, and I'm not gonna pretend I do. That was a second insertion, and then I had it in for 2 years. Fast forward to 2026. Now I'm getting the chills. Now I'm nervous, because now I feel like I'm getting vulnerable, okay? This is obviously a vulnerable video, so like that's kind of the point, I guess. I decided this year to get my IUD removed. I'm 2 years in, and I wanted, at some point in the future, I would like to start a family. And I don't know how long it takes to have like your hormones. I think everybody is different, and I don't know how long it takes to have your body readjust not having hormones in your system for so long. I like I said, I was on birth control since I was 18. I don't know myself without birth control. I don't know myself without an IUD. Part of it was also to get it removed, yes, because I want to start a family at some point in the future, and I wanted to get my hormones readjusted. I didn't know how long it would take me to like feel like myself, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't know how I was gonna do with getting off it and how long it would take for me to adjust. I think I'm still adjusting a little bit. I'll get into like what the first 4 weeks were like. They were all over the place towards the end, and it could have been due to like current life circumstances, but I remember when I got my second IUD in, my friend was like, he made a joke, and it was a very dark joke, so I will say that. I took that as like she was very down and depressed, and I never thought that that was why I might be feeling the way I've been feeling for a while. Is it birth control? Is it these hormones that are making me feel how I feel? I don't know. Or is it just something that I just deal with in general in life? Like, I don't know. I haven't been an adult without birth control. I don't want to give birth control or like IUDs that much weight in my life to carry for like how I am mentally, because a lot of my family members do struggle with like mental illness, anxiety, depression, addiction, so it very well could just be me. But I did notice that I was struggling mentally and things were dark for a little while, I would say. I noticed it like more than normal the last like 6 months, but again, I don't know if it's because of that. In order to find out, I might need to get off, you know, to really just see how my body does like without it, get to know my body without anything. Sorry, I'm not emotional because I'm feeling like I'm going through it right now. I just feel emotional for the Jill in the past that was dealing with those emotions. I'm okay right now. I'm actually very good, but I did notice, and again, it could be such a combo of things. I started a new job 6 months ago. I started a brand new job. I was working a ton. I wasn't sleeping as much. My schedule was different. I wasn't seeing tired as much. Felt like I was always tired and drained just mentally. Again, I don't know if it was necessarily because of birth control. I think it could have been just like a combo of life in general, and I think I just was like, let me just get off so I can just have a full body reset, just like get fully adjusted to being an adult without the hormones. Again, I do think a lot of that family history, life circumstances where it was making me feel feelings like that. But because I was on birth control and at some point in the future, if I would like to have kids in the future, I just want to be adjusted. So that is why I decided to get off birth control, mainly because of the kids in the future and just wanting to adjust my body. Just had to adjust my camera, so I'm sorry if the angle changed slightly, but that is why I decided to get off. Honestly, again, I say like there was a bit of a dark period mentally. I feel like it wasn't just because of that. I think it was a combination of many things. It could have been partially because, but not all. But I don't know because I am still going through this adjustment period. I've always been an anxious girl. I've always been a girl that struggled with anxiety. Yes, so overall, I loved my IUDs. Both of them. I think that we're all different and have different life experiences and have different needs. And that's why I do encourage speaking to a professional because we are all different. I would absolutely go back on an IUD. I don't know if it'll be the Kyleena again. It might be another one. It might be the Marina. I don't know if I would do the copper IUD. I'm not sure. I don't know. So that's my experience with the IUD. I've had people ask me in my real life as well as on YouTube videos if I'm looking to have kids soon, if I'm trying to get pregnant. I think it's a very personal question. I am not going to answer that question because I do feel that it is very personal. However, like I said, at some point in the future, it's something I would really like is to start a family, but I feel as though that is very personal, and I don't think you always know what people are dealing with behind the scenes, and to ask a question like that is very invasive in my opinion, and I've said that back to people who have commented or even in real life. I have to adjust my camera again because it's about to die, so I'm trying to put it on the charger, but this angle may have changed again. I needed to put my camera on the charger, so sorry about that, but I just feel like that's like just very invasive questions and comments, and I think that if people feel comfortable volunteering information, like I am now comfortable saying I got off birth control because I wanted to give my hormones time to adjust at some point in the future. I would like a family, but like anything other than that, I don't think is anyone's business. Just because I'm having this conversation doesn't completely open up to, you don't know what's going on with people behind closed doors. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get pregnant. Like, I don't know. There's no reason that I think I won't. There's also always a risk of like, you don't know what people are dealing with, you know? So yeah, I just want to say that. Moving on, my experience, my week timeline. The most I felt, I did 3 weeks. I did not do 4 weeks. The third and fourth week, I was working a ton and I was exhausted and very anxious, and I don't know if that was necessarily because of the removal, but I think it was mainly work. Let's get into my adjustment period, shall we? Week 1, brain fog. I couldn't finish a sentence. Couldn't finish a thought. I would be like sending videos to my friends and I'd be like, sorry, I have no idea what I was just saying. I actually have no idea what any of you just said. Like, the brain fog was insane. My period came a week early. It came like 2 days after I got the IUD removed. With that, of course, the cramps. Period came back in full swing to 7 days. It was already there, you know, when I had the IUD, but not to this extent. Full swing. The period was in full swing. Cramps, hurt so bad. Because of all this, I'm sure this is part of the rest of why, because I got my period, but I was so hungry. I could not stop eating the first week. I was so hungry. And again, it probably was my period. I was losing a lot of blood, so I probably just needed energy. You know, your body needs fuel, so I was probably just needing the energy. But oh my gosh, I ate so much food. I had headaches, headaches on headaches on headaches. I had the worst headaches. My boobs hurting so bad, and pimples. I was breaking out, and I still am. Since getting off, I've been getting pimples that I don't typically get all over. I woke up with one on my lip today, right there. Yep, right there. I had some on my chin, my nose, another on my chin, my forehead. Like, I've been getting pimples. So that was week 1. Week 2, more pimples. More pimples. But then it shifted. And this was the week 2 was after I had my period. I wasn't really hungry. Again, I went from like being so hungry to not being hungry at all. And I was exhausted. I was drained the second week. I was so tired. I don't know if it was like mental exhaustion and physical exhaustion combined, because I didn't change anything in my routines. Not really. I think that's the week I got back into like my yoga sculpt and hot yoga, but that could have contributed a little bit, but I was so tired. Week 3, that's my emotions. This is when my emotions hit. It was like every second I was feeling something different. One second I'm happy, the next I am raging angry at something, that I'm sad and crying, and my emotions on week 3 were all over the place. I don't know what. I'm assuming my hormones were adjusting. I was not really hungry. I don't know why. This, again, I did not eat that much. Like, I just wasn't hungry. I don't know how to explain it. And then again, I was not sleeping and I was absolutely exhausted. I think it was because of my anxiety, because of work, but that is something I noticed. My emotions were everywhere, probably because I wasn't sleeping that much. It was a big combo. So that is everything. Right now, I am on, week 4? Tomorrow it'll be 5 weeks, so I'm just going through week 4 technically now. Tomorrow it'll be like 5 full weeks not being on it. I feel okay. I feel a bit more normal in the sense of like I don't have a range of emotions. I'm eating a normal amount of food again. I am sleeping on a pretty steady schedule. My emotions are definitely more in check. I don't have as many dark thoughts and my brain isn't so... I definitely feel lighter. Like, I don't feel as stressed out. I feel a lot calmer than when I first got off it, that's for sure. My body was all over the place. I feel a lot more just like even for the most part, like in my day-to-day, unless something like really bothers me. Just an emotion in general is heightened, but like in the day-to-day, I'm pretty normal, I guess I would say. I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about today. Definitely vulnerable. Again, this video is not to tell you what to do. It's not to try to influence you. It's not to say birth control is good or bad. I had a great experience. Personally, I would do it again, and I am happy with the decision I made to go off of it. I'm feeling good. Yeah, that is everything. Let me know if you have any questions on my experience. Again, I'm not gonna tell anyone what they should or shouldn't be doing. I think if you want to know about that, you can definitely go to a doctor, but I just wanted to share this point in my life because it's something that is a big shift for me as an adult. I'm 25. I'm looking to the future for future goals and see what life is like without it, you know? See how I am without it. I'm really not stressing about anything right now. I'm just trying to just like be. Like, I'm not trying to look too much into how my hormones are doing, and I'm not tracking a bunch of things other than the symptoms I wanted to share just for this video. That is my experience with the Kyleena IUD. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I didn't want this video to be like this persuasive anything where I was like trying to tell you not to do something or to do something. I just wanted to share. So yeah, this is me right now, a month without birth control, and I'm doing okay. Like, I'm doing pretty good. I feel good. And I'm rambling because I don't know how to end this video this vulnerable. Maybe that's how we end it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day whenever you're watching this. I'm gonna finish this coffee and I will see you guys all in the next vlog. Bye!